Welcome back to the March edition of Conversations, and I'm so pleased to welcome Father Bill Hammer. Yes. Father Bill, thank you for being here. Let me tell our viewing audience a little bit about your background. First of all, Father Bill is a busy man. He is the pastor of the Basilica of St. Joseph's Proto-Cathedral in Bardstown, which has a glorious history. He's also the pastor of St. Michael's Church in Fairfield, which has an equally glorious history. And Father Bill, really, you do a great service in being the president of our priest council. And we're going to be talking a little bit about some of the conversations at the priest council. But just to give a little bit of a background, Father Bill was ordained a priest in 1980. Yes. Among other things, he served as pastor of St. Gabriel Church and was actually the director of the Office of Ecumenical and Interfaith Relations. You served in the 1990s as the president of the Priest Council, so also, this is a reprise, reunion. It's exactly. So, but you've done a very good job, and I'm very grateful for that. Father Bill, we've been talking about the new evangelization, and of course, of the fact that one of the key images of the new evangelization is just as Jesus brought forth a thirst and an answer to the thirst of the Samaritan woman at the well. In a sense, our church, our parishes are really a village fountain, in a sense, making Jesus present again. I just loved the conversations we had at the Priest Council on what it means to bring a pastoral heart to the things we're already doing, not doing more things, but doing things with a new zeal. Fill us in a little bit about those conversations that happened.
Sure. Just for the people's background, the Priest Council is a gathering of priests to advise you, the Archbishop, and the priests come from all over the diocese, different regions. So it is, I think, a real cross-section of all the priests of our diocese.
About 15 priests or so?
Correct. Yes, Archbishop is about that number. So when we get together, I know there is sometimes some business that you're asking us to give you a counsel on, but we've had two very rich sessions of the Priest Council meeting devoted to this new evangelization topic. And I think as a diocese, we've certainly been enriched by your presence at the Synod.
Oh, well, thanks.
And to bring back some of that information and sharing with us. But it has stimulated, I think, some wonderful discussion among the priests. And part of the structure of the council also is to send out reflections to the regions. So while the council gathers a group of 15 or so, it's going to impact all the parish life. And that image of the Samaritan woman at the well, I think, is one that has resonated well with the priests. When we began talking about the idea of new evangelization and trying to bring that into our parish setting, that idea of seeing ourselves as that fountain, the parish, as a place where people naturally gather together. And the image of the woman, she came with an empty bucket. She came to seeking water, but she encountered Christ at that moment. And I think of how many times people come to us, or we come across them in our daily routines, and they're looking for something, and sometimes they don't even know what they're looking for. And in coming to the parish sometimes on Sundays, we have had, all of us, experiences where the message that we received, the homily, or it might have been the prayers, or it might have been the scripture readings themselves, that come to us in a new light because of what's going on in our lives. And those are the opportunities, I think, the new evangelization is calling forth from us, to recognize that
So if somebody's listening and says, well, gee, I wonder if I've not been to church for a while, I wonder if maybe this is the time to come back. I think I'm hearing you say, absolutely.
Absolutely,
this is the time to come back. I was thrilled to hear priests talk about the way in which they witnessed at funerals.
Correct, yeah.
Was it baptisms?
They mentioned baptisms, even at communion time. But a number of us have those experiences where at a major life event, and certainly baptisms, a new life of a child in a family, but weddings, all these sort of moments of life that are significant, we do gather in prayer, and we do gather as a church, and particularly celebrating the sacraments. So it becomes an opportunity to reawaken in people's lives that faith that they received, maybe later on, like they received initially at baptism, but for those who've been baptized, to be recall again that gift of their faith. And one of the pastors mentioned that his practice is that, and as part of the ritual, the parents and godparents sign or mark the sign of the cross on, on a child's head. But this pastor invites all parents present to turn to any of their children and, in a sense, re-sign them, re-bless them.
During the same time that the baptism is going on. That was impressive to me, too.
It was a thing that kind of planted a seed in my heart, you know, and maybe in a sense I took a little sip of that water and am contemplating how I will integrate that into my experiences.
I kind of felt that as one priest was witnessing, I almost got a sense that some others were saying, maybe I can do that. And that's the church at its best, isn't it?
Yes, sharing our best practices.
Yeah. You mentioned before actually we started, you said, well, gee, we hope that people will have a chance to do what you've done and so many others, and that is read that 14-page message of the Synod delegates to the world.
Yes.
And we're going to put that up on the screen.
Excellent.
But you found that's where actually the image of Jesus with the Samaritan woman at the well, and then the parish as the village fountain.
Yes, that picks up in the, and developed very nicely. But also the message, in a sense, challenges bishops, challenges pastors, priests, but it challenges the members of every congregation to see themselves in those situations, and that the image of the well is not just to be limited to the inside of a church building, but to go out into our neighborhoods, to our work sites. There are so many opportunities we have daily to encounter Christ or to bring Christ to people, just in our work settings, in our school settings. And so,
one of the things, Father Bill, that we talked about too was the fact that priests, lay leaders, so many people within the parishes, if they come together, there can be a new energy to existing things. I want to give a plug to, I think it's April the 10th. That we will have an Archdiocesan Leadership Institute, and I know you've been at a number of those. That includes both a number of our priests who come, or deacons and lay leaders. There's usually, well over 100 people who come to that.
Yes, it's a gathering of the lay leadership in a parish community. Oftentimes it's staff, but not exclusively, by no means, and anyone would be welcome to participate in that. That image of a pastoral heart is not just something for pastors. I mean, it's an image of becoming more Christ-like, and everybody should have a pastoral heart in that sense.
That's excellent.
Yes.
Well, listen, you distinguish yourself as not only a good leader and as a very wise leader, but also as someone who brings a pastoral heart to all you do. And I must say this publicly, that it is so easy to work with you and to work with the priest council, as it was with Father Tony Smith, and who was your predecessor. But thank you first of all for your goodness, and boy, thank you for being part of Conversations.
An honor and a delight. Thank you, Archbishop.
Thank you. And thank you for viewing this Conversations for the month of March. And please stay tuned for the final segment of Conversations.